Rabbi Marilee Gordon of McHenry County Jewish Congregation. Today I'd like to speak to you about DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, which has been aggressively attacked over the last couple of months. Now, why do I want to talk about them? Because diversity, equity, and inclusion are intrinsic to Judaism, starting with the very first chapter of the Torah, the first chapter of Genesis, where God says, "Let us make a human in our image, after our likeness." And God created the human in God's image. In the image of God, God created it, the human being. Male and female, God created them. So, right away, we know from the beginning that each of us is created in the divine image. And when we look around at the diverse nature of human beings in terms of how they look, what they do with their lives, what languages they speak, who they love, each of them is created in God's image. The Torah is full of rules for how we treat other people. And it goes out of its way to say those people who are poor, who don't have their own land to work, and they talk about the widow, the orphan, and the stranger, the immigrant, particularly, you have to bend over backwards to include them in your celebration, to make sure they have enough to eat, to make sure they have a place to live. You have to treat those strangers the way you treat your neighbors. So there's the equity, there's the inclusion. Now, our rabbinic sources, the Mishnah, which was redacted, at the end of the 2nd century of the Common Era, which expands on the Torah, tells us that it gives the contrast between a human ruler who stamps coins in their image. So every coin looks the same. But God stamps each human being with God's image. And each of us looks different, acts different, speaks different, has different strengths and weaknesses. And we're encouraged to look upon this with amazement, to be amazed at the diversity in the world and to welcome it. Now, all those rules about treating others is because it is harder. It is harder to think of people as being equal to you if they look different or they sound different or they have different kinds of jobs. So that's why we have rules. And that's why our government had rules to encourage diversity, equity, and inclusion, knowing that each person has the right to be treated fairly. And that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about special dispensations. We're talking about rights. Every human being is entitled to the same privileges, the same necessities, to have the same necessities as every other human being. And so what do we learn from this? We learn that Judaism is a language that upholds diversity, equity, and inclusion, and it's our job, it's our obligation, according to the Torah, to work towards diversity, equity, and inclusion for everyone in our society. Thank you.